Hello and welcome back to Up the Villa podcast. If you are new, subscribe, drop this episode a like. We'll have a cheeky like target of 900 and comment your thoughts in the comment section down below. So, take two. The season starts right now, literally. Bounce back mode, regroup mode. The cavalry is on its way. The reinforcements are on their way. And I feel a lot better now. I've got to say, on Sunday, I really didn't feel great. Monday did not feel great, but I feel better now. I feel back to my positive self. My outlook is looking a lot better. And I mean, probably hearing Fergie talk about like we played well, etc. I mean, that probably made me feel a bit better as well. But yeah, I feel better now. First home game of the season. I was at St James's Park and I could see what that city was like, what the fans were like in and around the ground, what the atmosphere was like before the game kicked off. And I'm expecting exactly the same in and around Villa Park on Sunday. Just that feel good factor that football's back and we're able to watch our team. So I think that's the first point that I'd like to make, that we're at home and I'm looking forward to it. Again, it feels like it's been a while since we've been down Villa Park, which it has, and there's no better feeling is than when you see that beautiful stadium and you get in there and you sit in your seat and yeah. How are you feeling, Hannah?
I'm very excited to be back. It was a bit different for you, obviously, going up to Newcastle last weekend, but I think for those of us that didn't go, it feels like the season does properly start, first home game back. Feels like we always seem to play Everton first or one of the first home games back in summer when you've still got, the warmth of summertime kickoffs. So I'm feeling like the energy should be quite positive despite, a bit of a stumbling block last weekend. So I am very much looking forward to it. And like you say, let's just start over again. Let's pretend it didn't happen. Let them worry about it in the boardroom and the changing room this week, and we'll turn up like it's day one on Sunday.
I feel like we're gonna have a completely different mindset going into this one. I think the shock of seeing Mings leave on a stretcher would be a big thing for this. I mean, it was big for us to see. My like I felt crap seeing him leave on a stretcher. We're all saying it's a massive blow, but for those players to see him leave on a stretcher, the guys that have worked with him for 4, 3, 5 years, like McGinn, etc. And then, they have that bond, don't they? They're all close. They're a close knit group. I imagine how they felt. So I think we need to box this emotion up now and get our game face on and just use it now to add as sort of motivation and just to go out there and just do what we can do and make those players proud as well. And I think for the fans, first thing they're going to want to do is make us proud again because, it wasn't pretty, was it? So we've got Everton, and you've touched on it by saying it feels like we always play Everton first up, but we tend to always beat them at home as well. So I think that's one thing that I would like to touch on is that we had a stinker of a record at St James's Park against Newcastle, but our home record against Everton is pretty good. So, how are you feeling about facing Everton?
I'm feeling confident. I'm not going to go back to being a pessimistic Villa fan after one stinker of a result. I think I'm still in the same positive place as I was this time last week in terms of I believe in this Villa side, and especially you can't deny the fact that we've had excellent form against them recently, not even just at home but away. Everton are obviously in a bit of a sticky patch themselves. They've had a couple of rubbish seasons, haven't they? they're trying to rebuild now, a bit of stability, but I don't think they're quite there yet. Not done massive amounts of business this summer so far, so they're not really too much of a different prospect to the side we faced last year. Um, there's one face that I am looking forward to seeing, and that is our Ashley. So that will be nice. Sure, you'll get a warm welcome, but other than that, like you say, game face will be on. There is no better motivator to win a football game than getting spanked the week before. So I think this team will want to set the record straight and will want to do it in front of the fans. This isn't an Everton team of historical years that you think, oh, might be a bit difficult. They're a bit of a tough side to beat. I think in recent years we've proven that we've sort of come out on top. So I'm feeling pretty positive. And just in terms of coaching as well, we've clearly got a superior coach, I'd like to think. So they similarly had a bit of a lacklustre start to the season. They lost 1-0 to Fulham, and they'll be coming to Villa wanting to win. Like the way we view St James's Park and all these other stadiums that we go to, and we never seem to win, they'll be viewing Villa Park as one of those. So as always, can't underestimate the way they're going to come to Villa Park and want to win. But in my brain, it feels like it's a winnable game. And I don't want to start saying must win on the second game of the season, but just to sort of calm the nerves a bit, not even just after a loss, but because we've had two big players go out injured. I think we need the little bit of a boost. Just set us back on that positive train we were on and reset. And I think then we can just kick on then, because it's just one of those where after a game where you've lost and you've had a bit of bad luck with injuries, the last thing you want is to start losing consecutive games. You really just want to get back out there and win again. So really looking forward to it, and I think we will hopefully come out on top, just given the fact that we do have more quality on the pitch.
Yeah, and personally, I like Everton. I like them as a club. I like their fan base. We've got a great Everton fan channel coming on this week as well. So stay tuned for the opposition preview. But they're a club that I like. They're I'm not going to say kind of a transitional period, I think. I think for me, when I look at Everton, I think they've got an okay manager in Sean Dyche. I think, yes, going from Lampard to Dyche to survive was pretty much the right appointment, I think. But I think Everton's long game is this new stadium on the horizon and building towards that. And I think Dyche will just do enough to get them to that period. And I think the club as a whole will want to massively improve, and the ambition will want to improve. Like I've predicted them to finish like 13th this season, which sounds weird. And I mean, an Everton fan 10, 15 years ago, to say that you think finishing 13th would be a decent season, it's not really that great. And I think that shows where Everton are as a club. And I think on the pitch, I look at them and I look at their side, and we'll go into more detail on the predicted lineup. But again, they've not really evolved much from last season. They've still got striker issues. Their defence, in my opinion, is slightly weaker without someone like Yerry Mina in there. And, Coleman's not playing. I don't know I think he might be injured, but the defence doesn't look too great. And I just think they're going to be that side this season that I don't think they're going to be in a relegation battle, but I think they're just going to be that group above it that just tick over and do okay. So, them coming to Villa Park, I think we should be looking to definitely win this game. And I think if we can play our game and impose ourselves and play to that level that we all know we can do, and even going back to the Newcastle game, yes, there was lots of negatives in there, but for decent spells in that game, we were controlling possession. And I think against teams like Everton at home, I think we will look to be the better team We'll create more chances. I think we can really get at them, and I just don't see Everton setting up any differently to how they've been setting up last season and what I saw against Fulham. So I think with that said, let's have a little look at their game against Fulham, because with that being said, I think they were quite unlucky against Fulham not to get something from that game. But I think those are two teams that I do see going to be in and around each other this season. So if we have a look at that game then, so Everton had an XG of 0.98, Fulham had a 0.51. Fulham had 59% possession, Everton had 19 shots and 9 on target. Everton had 4 big chances missed and Fulham had 1. They made 366 passes, Everton, which is not the greatest, and Fulham made 556. If we have a look at, this was Fulham's average positions and passing network during this game as well. So you can see that Fulham were really trying to use both flanks to sort of get at Everton. You can see predominantly on that right-hand side from Tete to Wilson, that was their strongest passing range and passing network in this game. If we have a look at the dominance by expected threat, it was pretty even. I think Everton had sort of a big spell. That must have been from around 30 to 45. You can see from the shot map, Everton are in the blue, Fulham are in the red. And then we can have a look at where Everton's danger created against this game was pretty central, which I do think that's Everton's strongest area, with Idrissa Gana, Doucouré, and Onana. This was their lineup against Fulham. So our friend Ashley Young was at left back, Tarkowski, Keane, Patterson, Garner, Idrissa Gana, Onana, Iwobi, Doucouré, and Maupay up top. The average positions from this game looked like that. I think you can really see there's space when Iwobi drifts inside to support the striker, that he leaves Ashley Young isolated. And then this was Everton's passing network in this game as well. So Iwobi, Doucouré, Onana, their threat, very central, quite strong in the middle of the park. But yeah, that back line, I think you can really get at it. And this was Fulham's average position. So, Hannah, with all that said, what are you expecting the game to be like on Sunday?
I think we'll probably, I think we're gradually just working towards being more of a team that's comfortable in possession. And yes, we don't want to dwell too much on the Newcastle game, but for the most part, like you've touched on, we looked pretty comfortable on the ball. There were lots of things that kind of went wrong, particularly in the second half. And I think a lot of it seemed in the end to be a mentality issue. So for me, I think there weren't too many red flags or alarm bells other than mentality and sort of some defensive shape and organisation and sort of the high line. That being said, I thought, this isn't me now being biased because Sir Alex Ferguson said something, but I think we were saying it on the day in our WhatsApp chat that we were controlling for a lot of that game. We had some great chances that we obviously didn't take. So I've got no doubt that, especially at home, the game plan will be, we want a lot of the ball. We want to be comfortable on the ball. We're not necessarily going to have to rush things. I think, particularly now that we've got some potentially big changes happening to our defence and playing out from the back, I can see perhaps things maybe building a little bit more slowly, utilising sort of that double pivot a bit more to play out into that midfield role, given the fact that Kamara and Louise are going to be a little bit more comfortable. So going through that, the middle of the park, like you've touched on there, is potentially something that we'll look to exploit. But again, we're at home, so we're being the home team and wanting a lot of the ball means that we're also going to want to go for it. We're going to want hopefully an early goal. It feels like when Aston Villa can score an early goal, we seem to, our heads just lift a little bit. So lift the crowd to lift them, and to get out there and start strong and start quick, I think is really important at the weekend. The Everton side, I think, like you said, the defense is okay. It's okay. I think, again, bit biased. I think Ashley Young was probably an okay signing for them, but it didn't show massive ambition. Sorry, Ashley. Um, and I think in general, their kind of centre back partnership for a while has been quite weak. The biggest issue, I think, though, is that they're just are going to struggle to score goals. I think Malpay is annoying to play against. I think he's a little terrier and he's a wind-up merchant and he'll probably get you booked. But he's just he's not a massive goal threat. Now, please enjoy clipping this when he scores at the weekend. But they do struggle, I think, to score goals. So obviously they're going to come to Villa Park wanting to score, but I think their tactic will, for a lot of the game, be wanting to sort of control us, subdue our attacks, and then perhaps try and counter. But I do think what we have is much better in terms of attacking quality. So I think if we can sort of steady the ship, get out there, start well, start no like panic balls in the first 10 minutes where we're playing it out from the back and someone misplaces a pass and all the crowd start getting up. I think it needs to be nice and settled, get through the first 15 minutes, whatever centre back partnership or back three or whatever we go with. Obviously, that we'll talk about that later in the week, but make sure that they're settled and then start to build up, really utilise, as we touched on, the middle of the park, get some runners in, and I do think we can overload them through the midfield. And with the quality we've got up front, I do think we should hopefully come out stronger. But like I say, I think the big thing will just be getting behind them, and just I'm very conscious that I just don't want it to turn into panic in the first 10 minutes if we've got some slightly sort of new defensive partnerships or shape or something like that. I just think we need to keep it calm and trust the process a little bit, because obviously it's going to be a bit of a work in progress for the time being whilst we figure out how to bridge the gaps with these injury problems.
Yeah, I think the defense is going to be the big talking point, especially on the predicted lineup anyway. So we may as well save that for that. But I think that's going to be something to take a look at, especially that midfield area as well. We've only got sort of, what's the date today? So we've kind of got like a couple of weeks and then the window shuts. It does feel like the signings are going to be on their way, which I think needs to happen. I think, I guess maybe when this comes out, Zaniolo probably will be here holding up a Villa shirt. I'm really excited by that one because I think it adds something totally different to what we currently don't have. And there's so much potential in that player. It's unbelievable. Rumours of Acuna coming in at left back. I think, again, that adds something completely different. And I'm looking forward to that one. There's talks of Luca Dean potentially leaving, going to Saudi. I think that probably would be a good move, I think, for how much money he's getting paid. And I think that would enable us to probably bring in two players based on his wage, which, again, I think would probably improve us. I think if I had to look at Acuna and Dean, I think it's definitely an improvement. So elsewhere, where are you sort of thinking, Hannah? Do you think we need another centre half, or are you okay with what we've got?
A week ago, everything, the window looked great because the three players we'd brought in were additions. Now, everyone we've brought in, or, the place we're at now, we're bridging the gaps again. We're filling in for long-term injuries. So we're at a place where we do need more. I think the sort of attacking midfielder, which at the minute looks the most likely, is good because Buendia is a massive blow. However, I do think the centre back is something we need to address purely because the way I'm feeling now is that we're one more injury away from being seriously concerned. It's not just Villa that we're seeing this in the first week of the season. So many muscle injuries in the first like 2 games of the season, across like the football league and the Premier League. It does concern me that we are just one injury away. You know, Konza gets injured. What on earth are we doing? We've got
But
a brand
sure,
new.
surely we are not going to have any more long-term injuries this season.
But you can't.
I mean,
You
surely it
could
can't
never
work
say
like
that.
that, can it? It
You'd
cannot.
like
I
to hope
can't.
not.
If I tell you what, I don't know. If we get another one, I don't know what's gonna happen.
No,
But
I think we'll all have a bit of a meltdown but you think, right, surely 2 in the first 2 days of the season, no, that's it now, but you can never guarantee. We've also got Carlos who, whilst he's fit, whenever he has played, he's not had has he had a full 90? I don't think he has.
no.
Excuse me if I'm wrong, but he's not completely match sharp because, like I say, he's not had the minutes. We've got Pau Torres, who again is clearly a talent, but is adapting to a brand new country, a brand new league, readapting to management style, whole new team around him. So, whilst I put 100% trust in him, it's going to take a lot of time, and in that process, we yes, we want to build a new partnership between someone, but we're also going to need to allow for the fact that some things might not work in this process. Some other little bitty injuries might come through. Tactically, we might need to adapt because we've not got Mings, who is a very big presence. We might need 3 centre halves now, which means we do need another one. And again, Callum Chambers, I think we kind of spoke about him in pre-season. He's a decent footballer, but he's not, again, someone that you want to rely on in terms of Callum Chambers needs to be starting half of the games every season. He probably just isn't quite there. So I would like to think we're going to get a centre back in. Again, it's a bit different if we are looking at perhaps another right back and then we move Konza out there, and there's a bit of sort of diversifying you can do, but I just think just for peace of mind, we could probably do with one more, just in case, because the way our luck is at the minute, we can't afford to rest on our laurels and hope another injury doesn't happen, because this is the game, unfortunately, and you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, I think it will be addressed. I really do. I read on the Twitter, etc., people saying, "Oh, after this one, I don't see any more coming in." But I can't imagine that we would risk that. So yeah, so I think that's a nice little match preview for you. We will have the exact same model as last week. We've got predicted lineups to come. We've got press conference. We have got the prediction episode. I know a lot of you have really liked it, so we will do that again, and then we'll have the opposition preview as well. Fan cams. If anybody would like to be on the fan cams, we are sort of where the McGregor statue is. We go to the back of that, so sort of not by the stadium, at the back of it where the stage is. So we will be there after the game. So if anyone wants to come on and have their thoughts, then anybody is welcome to come on and do so. So yes, we're going to be busy before the game, aren't we, Hannah? We've got a little cheeky TNT Sports of been in touch. I heard your phone going off earlier. It might have been your agent, mightn't it? Booking them in. But no, so we're going to be doing some stuff before the game as well. So that's quite
Exciting.
exciting. So, yes. So there we go. So, score predictions. Nearly forgot.
Oh, God. Out of practice.
I'm going to go. Now, I went 1-1 last week. I was very cautious. I'm going to go big performance, big reaction, big result, 3-1 Villa. What are you going with?
I was thinking a 3-0.
Ooh,
I'm praying for a
really?
clean sheet. That would be massive. I think it'll be goals. I think we'll score goals.
Yeah, me
I do
too.
feel confident. Fresh start.
Yeah, definitely. So positive vibes, everybody. Let's bring them through. And yes, let's get them 3 points. Let's get back on track. And exciting because the European game is fast approaching as well. Hibs were they 3-1 up. That was a crazy game, that was. So they've got their second leg on Thursday. So we'll find out who we're playing. Looks like it's going to be Hibs at the minute. So yeah, that little cheeky night under the lights is going to be good. Hopefully we get through that. And our European journey will start. So thanks, everybody. Hit a like, subscribe. Up the Villa.
Up the Villa.